Hello, gentlemen, barbarians, savages. The Rooster here. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about something I've been wanting to make a video about for a while, and that's the child support system. And how the child support system is very, very gender biased against men. And so let's get right into it. The first thing that's wrong with the child support system is, on its basis, it's set up wrong. It's based on your salary or your income. Now, when the state of Michigan has an orphanage or foster care, or any state has that kind of stuff, they set an amount of money to be paid out for that child based on the cost of living. Okay? When you have a job, you're a consultant, you go different towns, different places for 6 months, 9 months at a time, you get paid something called per diem. And that per diem is based on the cost of living in that area. Okay, per diem in Hawaii is very high. Per diem in New York City is very high. Per diem in Duluth, Minnesota is not that high. Okay? So if the state is going to set their costs on what it costs to raise a kid in a certain area at that certain time, why is the cost to raise a kid for an individual based on how much they make? Okay, if I'm going to put a new roof on my house and I'm standing out in the driveway with the roofer and I say, okay, I want this, I want this, I want this, is the first thing that the roofer says to me, well, how much do you make? So why do you need to know how much I make? Well, I have to know how much I'm going to charge you. So that doesn't happen. Child support is the only system in the world where a janitor in Duluth, Minnesota, and an NFL football player in Duluth, Minnesota, whose kids go to the same school, live right next to each other on the same street, play in the same playground, eat the same lunch, go to the same grocery store. The NFL football player is paying $6.5 million a year to raise his kid, and the janitor's paying $12.50 a day. Okay? It's wrong. On its face, it's wrong. You figure out how much it costs to raise a kid, and that's what everybody pays. Now, let's say, right now to raise a foster kid, it's $17.50 a day. That's how much you get as a foster parent to raise one kid. 2 kids, it goes up, just keeps doubling. It's a set amount. So $17.50, great. I'm Tom Cruise. I'm making $20 million, $25 million pictures. I'm a movie star. I pay the $17.50, and then you know what? I send my kid to private school. I pay for that. I pay for all of the extra stuff. I pay for the kid's Maserati when he turns 16. But it shouldn't be based on me being a movie star and how much I make. It should be based on how much it costs. So that's the first thing. That's the one big thing. Child support is the only system out there where how much you pay is based on how much you make. That's wrong. Second big thing. Child support is the only system that exists where you have to turn over money, where you have absolutely no control on the outcome or the spending. Okay? Let's take the roofer again. Standing in my driveway. I need you to do a bid for a roof on my house. Okay. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. We decided that we're going to do leather roofs for the next year. No, I don't want leather roofs. You don't have a choice. That's what we do. We want leather roofs, and we're going to put little flower pots running down the middle of the roof, and every 3 days it's going to light itself on fire. No, I I don't fucking want a roof like that. Well, you don't have any choice, because once you give the money to us, we're going to do what we want to with it. You don't have any control over the outcome. Does that make any fucking sense to you at all? No. So why does it make sense in the child support system that you turn over your money to a system and then it's given away to someone else and they get entirely to decide what they want to do with it? They might buy macaroni and cheese for the kids. They might buy Coach purses. They might buy freaking Louis Vuitton dresses. You know, you don't know what they're going to do with it. You have no control over your money. That's wrong. It's two things. Fundamentally immoral. Fundamentally immoral. Now, the third thing that's wrong with the child support system is, and a lot of people don't understand this, is they can take up to 65% of your money. Once they figure out how much you make, then they take 65% of that. 99% of the time, that is maxed out. And later on in this video, I'm going to tell you why it's maxed out. Almost 100% of the time, they take 65% of whatever they figure out your pay is. Now, you say, oh, you know, that's okay. It's a little bit more than half. Well, it's 15% more than half, first off. But second off is, that's gross. That's of your gross. So I want to laser this into your brain, how bad this is for the man. Okay? I make $1,000, let's say I make $1,000 a week. Pretty good salary. Okay? That's $50,000 a year. That's above average. I'm well into the first standard deviation above the mean. Making $52,000 a year. $1,000 a week. So 65%. So immediately off the top, she gets $650. That money is untaxed to her. Guess what? I still got to pay taxes on that. I'm in the 20% tax bracket. I don't pay 20% on the $350 a week that's left over to me. No. I pay my 20% taxes on my income, which is $1,000. So I pay $200 to Uncle Sam. So now you see what's left over for me is $150 a week. So I'm working for $1,000 a week and I'm making $150 a week and I'm giving her $650. Okay, at the end of the month, I've managed to scrape together $450 for myself to pay my rent, buy my food, get back and forth to work, buy gas, keep my truck running, and put a roof over my head, right? And pay for my lawyer, which is going on the credit card. I don't have, lawyers make $150 an hour, and I'm making $150 a week. So my lawyer's going on a credit card, so I'm going into debt right there. Meanwhile, she gets $650 times 4, which is $2,600. Okay? Now, all well and good. If you can make it, that's fine. Here's the problem. You're probably paying her rent. You're paying for her lawyer. You're paying for the kids. You're paying all the food and everything that she needs. And here's the thing. It's what I call the double buy. You get to see your kids 4 days a month. She gets them 26 days a month, right? She's making basically $100 a day off of you. And with that $150 a week that you have to buy your own crib. You have to buy your own toys. You have to buy your own set of bunk beds. You have to buy your own Xboxes for the kids. You got to have a 2 or 3 bedroom house so that you can be considered an adequate, non-custodial parent. You have to buy all the stuff that she buys, but you're paying for hers and you're paying for yours, and you're trying to get by on $150 a week. It's freaking highway robbery. Okay? So I'm going to end with those 3 things. That was going to be my whole thing. I was going to do 30 minutes on just those 3 sections, but I just wanted to hit that off really quick. The rest of this video, I'm going to talk about why all of this happened. It took me a week to research this video. You guys, get ready. Strap your fucking seatbelt on, because it's about to get fucking real right now. Why does all this happen? Well, there's something out there called the Title IV Child Support Enforcement Act. You might not even know that this thing exists, but it is the whole reason that the family service agency's there, that the friend of the court is there. All of this stuff is enacted under Title IV, the Child Enforcement Act. Now, what is it? The Child Enforcement Act gives the court system federal and state allotments per child support case. Every child support order that goes out, that court system, just like a traffic ticket, just like a speeding ticket, they get money. But it ain't $100 for a speeding ticket. They get matching funds. Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Okay? For every child support order that they put up through the system, they get money. They get paid. Okay? Now, what is this? You know, what do they get paid for on these orders? They get paid on their orders. But here's their score system. Here's their report card from the state, so to speak. They get paid an increased aggregate amount of child support money through the friend of the court. They're rated, scored, and they get their report card based on these 5 things. And this is going to throw you for a fucking loop. Asset seizures. Okay? When someone doesn't pay child support and they go in and they take a car, they take a bank account, they take stuff out of their house to sell, just like the IRS can come in your house and take your shit away. Asset seizures. For every dollar that they seize, the state and the feds each give them matching funds for that. Income garnishments. You ever had that happen to you? You ever go to cash your check and look at your direct deposit and find out that $57 went in there instead of $570? Well, where'd the other $450 go? Garnished. Garnished by the state. Garnished by the feds. Okay? Whoa, this is starting to sound like a police company, right? Well, it gets better. Court hearing costs. Every time they get you in court, every time the judge sees you, every time you deal with someone in the court system, their funds, their costs are written off to the state and paid for. Okay? Issuing of warrants. Man, this is starting to sound like a fucking sheriff's department. This is starting to sound like the fucking police department. The issuing of warrants? Really? You get paid? Yes. Every time they issue a warrant, that's any kind of warrant. Appear in court, go here, go there, pay this, or we're going to take this away from you. That courthouse and the front of the court gets paid money from the state and the federal government. And last but not least, the collection. When they collect money from you, they get paid an amount of money equal to however much. If they get $5,000 out of you, they get $5,000 from the state and $5,000 from the Fed. So they get $15,000 going into that courthouse. Holy shit! What the fuck? No wonder I can't go to the front of the court and get anything done. They want the fucking money. Now let me tell you what doesn't get paid. All of those things are trying to get money out of the man, right? Asset seizures, income garnishment, court hearing costs, issuing of warrants and collection. That's all trying to get money out of the man. What I'm gonna tell you, parenting time enforcement, exactly $0 fucking dollars. $0 fucking dollars for that. They don't give a fuck about parenting time enforcement. They couldn't give a fuck less. You show up, you drive 3 hours to pick your fucking kid up. She doesn't show up. She calls you. How's your drive, asshole? Well, why aren't you here? Oh, we're not coming. What the fuck? Call the friend of the court. Call the police. Sorry, there's nothing we can do. $0 fucking funds for parenting time enforcement. Custody. $0 freaking funds. Enforcing custody. Enforcing the fact that you get to see your kid. If you're the non-custodial parent. $0 freaking funds. Visitation enforcement. $0 fucking funds. Anything that has to do with you wanting to see your kid or spend time with your kid, $0. Anything that has to do with you paying that woman money, they have entire categories in there. Now, what can this agency do? What can this child support agency do under this Title IV Act? It's bad, man. First off, they take your kid. She can take your kid. She doesn't even have to ask. She just take your kid. Okay? They can seize your bank account. And last but not least, that's bad enough. Your kid's gone. You fucking feel like shit. You only get to see him 4 days a month anyways. Then they take your freaking money right out of your bank account if you can't pay or if you don't pay. Here's the third thing that's really freaking bad, and I'm going to talk about this a lot in a minute. They can take you, brother. They can put you in jail. You lose your job. You lose your license. You lose any professional licenses you have. If you're a doctor or if you're a lawyer, they can take your state licenses away. If you're a tax preparer, if you're a food service person, they can take your state license away. They can take your driver's license away if you're a truck driver. And you're fucking done. Okay? Take your kid, garnish your bank account, and then they can put your ass in jail. Now, I did a lot of research. I did about 3 days research on this because I was under the understanding that you could not be put in jail for money. There was something years and years and years ago called debtor's prison, and it existed all through France and Europe and in England. But when it came to the United States, we had it here for about 100 years. But in the 1830s, after the War of 1812, there was a huge depression, and everybody was in debt. It was worse than the depression we had in the 1930s. But in 1833, Congress eliminated, under law in the United States, debtor's prison. It is forbidden to put someone in prison. Now, that's the part I remember. As I did my research, I found out, oh no, they've added caveats. Since 1833, over the last 150 years, they've added caveats. And I'm not going to go into them. Williams versus Illinois is one that you can look up. Tate versus Short is a Supreme Court finding that you can look up. And the newest one, which is Bearden versus Georgia, was in 1983. And it was over willingness to pay and non-willingness to pay. And if you have the ability, by their judgment and a non-willingness to pay, they can make you pay and they can put you in prison. So when people say that there's no debtor's prison anymore, actually these 3 caveats, and the one that child support falls under is Bearden versus Georgia. Because what they do is they put you in a category that says he has the ability to pay, he just doesn't have the willingness to pay. So we're going to make him willing, we're going to put him in jail. So there is debtor's prison still, and child support is one of the things that you can go to prison for having a debt. So keep that in mind. I thought for the longest time that the debtor's prison didn't exist anymore, but it does. Now, if you go all the way back to the Fifth Amendment, The Fifth Amendment says no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Okay? And due process of law, evidently under the child support statute, is if you don't have the willingness but the capability, we can judge that on you and put you in jail. Now, here's the little tidbit. Under Title IV, these are non-attorneys. These are non-judges. The people that set these payments and do these child support orders, legal pleas, all of this stuff for you, they have no statutory authority whatsoever. They are not lawyers. They are not judges. They are low-level bureaucrats that are doing all of this stuff to you. So keep this in mind. This is really a raw fucking deal. So, let's talk about some other stuff. I talked about 65%. Talked about all that stuff. Now let's talk about what is the outcome of money in the system for the court system. Well, they're going to do things that are going to get them more money. What does this cause? Okay? This basically causes non-custodial parents, who are the men. 95% of non-custodial parents are men. I'm not talking about the 5% that are women. You want to go yada, yada, yada. In order to be a non-custodial parent as a woman, you have to be a freaking heroin addict or a drunk or a junkie or a fucking carnival worker or something, you know. If you're a woman, you're probably going to get custody, right? They don't even have payer and receiver on the paperwork anymore. They just put father. Now, how gender biased is that? That is just, it's uncanny to me. Now you think, well, does DNA matter? DNA doesn't matter. If you're married to someone and she cheats on you and has a kid and it's the other person's is the father, guess who pays child support? You do, because you're married to her. If you meet someone, have a one-night stand, she's a whore, she's been fucking 10 other guys, she puts your name on the birth certificate, even though you haven't seen her in freaking 9 months and you just had a one-night stand with her, you're the father, you got to pay child support. Okay? This is all stuff that you have to be careful. And DNA doesn't matter. You can have a DNA test that proves that you're not the father and you're still going to owe child support. Think about that. Think about that. And there are people that are in jail right now because they refuse to pay. I got a DNA thing right here that says I'm not the father, and he's in jail and he's got $30,000 in child support and he can't get out and he lost his job and everything like that. Okay? I was going to talk the 65%. Now, the reason that it's always the most is because, like I said, they get the most money. They get matching funds for the amount of money that the child support is ordered. So the first thing that they do is they max it out. They put it up to 65%. Why would you put it at 50%? Then the place where you're working, where you're getting your paycheck, I'm a friend of the court. I want money coming into that court system. I'm going to set everybody's child support at 65%. I'm not going to set it at 25% because I know that not enough funds are going to come in for me, not for the kid, not for the father, for the mother. I just care about me. So the most child support that is ordered gets you the highest payment from the state for each case. Okay. Now, what other things do? They label men, the fathers, as dangerous and unnecessary for the children to have contact with. Now, why do they do that? And there's a lot of guys out there that are nodding, yeah, this happened to me. I went from being a great father to being this total asshole, and all of a sudden I'm dangerous, unnecessary in the equation. It's between her, the kid, and the state. Your parenting, I've already discussed before, custodial visitation and parenting time doesn't fucking matter. Okay? The state and the mother are the parents. You are just an ATM machine. That's all the fuck you are, is an ATM machine. You're not the father anymore. The state is the father. You understand? Takes your money, the state pays the bills to her. Okay? What is this? What else does this create? Parental alienation. I'm going to do, sometime in the future, I'm going to do an entire video on parental alienation and how it fucking works. It's gruesome. Okay? They want court battles. Why do they want court battles? Because every time there's a court hearing, it increases the cost and it increases the thing. They want court hearings. The friend of the court wants you to be in court. If they can get you in court every week, they want you there because it's money for them. Okay? They create a situation where the lawyers insulate the parents from each other, and there's no way to communicate back and forth except through the freaking lawyers. Okay, that's a terrible system. Then what always seems to come after a while is charges of abuse, neglect, or addiction. That's how they get you out of the kid's life. Neglect, abuse, and addiction. He hits me. That's the first one that you'll hear. Okay, well, he's violent. When he has the kids for his 4 days, he neglects them. He doesn't feed them. He doesn't clothe them. He doesn't have adequate facilities at his house. I mean, for crying out loud, he's got $150 a week. He should be able to fucking do it. So neglect is the next one. And then if they can't get you on those two, then you're an alcoholic, or you're a drunk, or you're some kind of an addict. You're a gambling addict. He doesn't have any money. He must be gambling his money away. No, I'm not gambling my money away. I'm giving my fucking money to the friend of the fucking court. Right? Now, if they can't get you on that, what they'll get you, the other thing that they get you on is, you know, the boyfriend that freaking moves in with her. You know, you can't do anything, but she can have some other dude around your kids who might kill your kids or abuse your kids or rape your daughters or whatever. Well, why don't you get married to him? Oh, I can't do that. Why? Because if I get married, I lose my welfare. I don't want to lose my welfare. I'm already married to the state. This is my side man who fucks me. Because the state can't fuck me. And I like to get laid still. So I have this guy living in the house. And oh, by the way, thanks, because you're buying his macaroni and cheese too. You're buying his fucking steak and potato dinners too, buddy. So have a good time at work. Can't get enough overtime. I suggest that you take a side job as a bartender and work under the table. You know, because you're going to have to live and you're going to have to pay for the kids, the house, and my new fucking boyfriend. Okay? This whole idea about deadbeat dads is bullshit. 98% of divorces in Michigan, nationwide it's 80%, but in Michigan, did you know this? 98% of divorces are filed by the woman, and they're unwanted. Divorce is unwanted by the fathers. Okay? So again, they make the weather and then bitch that it's raining. You're a deadbeat dad. Well, why didn't you stay in the fucking house, stay fucking married, and have your fucking bills paid for? Then I can see my kids every night and all this shit. But no, you want to cause a fucking bunch of problems and get divorced because you just can't stand me, right? All right. So that's my take on child support and the child support system and how they get you. And the reason why they do this is because Title IV gives them money. Now, here's the best part, guys. I got the solutions. I got the fucking solutions. Here is the solution. I want you to take this. If you want to, just cut this last 2 minutes of this thing and take it to every judge, every fucking attorney, every person that you talk to when you're dealing with this in your child support cases. Because here's the fucking solution. If you have to get the divorce and you have to get into the child support system and you have to be involved in this, here's the solution. Prepaid credit card. going to say it again. A prepaid credit card. Okay? Here's Tommy the turkey. Here's Sally the squirrel. Okay? We go, do. We get a card between the two of us, or one for each, same card, right? Tommy goes, and he puts his $650 on that card for the kids. Now guess what? Sally the squirrel, she's got to come up with her $650 on her fucking own. It doesn't go right to Sally. So she's got to come up with $650 of her own, which means she's got to go out and get a fucking job. And she's got to fucking put that $650 on there. Now, there's $1,300 on that card, right? Now, whoever has the kids gets to spend it. But not until both of them put their money on there together. Accountability for women. The whole system is set up for responsibility for Tommy, and then he turns over his money, and then she fucking goes, see ya later, I'm out of here. No fucking accountability for this little fucking bitch squirrel. Okay? Now we have accountability. Now there's two statements. One statement goes to Tommy. One statement goes to her, so she can see what he's spending, and he can see what she's spending. Oh, looks like you fucking bought a Coach purse with the child support money. Looks like you bought some new fucking shoes at Louis Vuitton. Oh, let's go talk to the fucking front of the court now about what you're spending the fucking money on. You're not spending it on the kids, right? When there's a statement that shows what the money's been spent on at the end of the month, women have to be held accountable, okay? And that's the worst thing that fucking women hate, is to be held accountable. How dare you try to hold me accountable while you're spending my money? And by the way, and nothing happens until they both get their money on the card, right? And they both get statements. This is the most simple fucking solution to child support that's out there. The judge can see the fucking statement. The friend of the court can see the fucking statement. It solves the problem for fucking men that are going, where the fuck is my money going? You know, it solves the problem for women in that they're going to get their money, and they're also going to have to put their own money on the fucking card, right? That little tidbit right there is the most important thing. It's not just the guy putting the money on the card and then the woman spending the money on the card. She has to go put and match funds because they are parents. They have both have the same responsibility, right? That's what you hear from men. Don't be a deadbeat dad. Kids are your responsibility. Well, now you can turn it around on women. My $650 is on there. Where's your $650 this month, bitch? Well, you know, now she's the one that's got the excuses. Well, you know, my job is part-time, and I had to pay for a babysitter, and blah, blah. You know, it doesn't say on the card that you paid for a babysitter. You know, did you not? Oh, I didn't use the card. Well, where'd you get the money then? So, take this little 2 minutes, this last little 3 minutes, and go to the judge and say, hey, why don't we do fucking child support this way? You know, Visa and MasterCard cards have been around since the late 60s. You know, the technology is out there. We can see who the deadbeat is, who the fucking user is, who the narcissist is, who the good parent is, who the accountable person is, just by looking at the statements, okay? That's all we have to do. If whose money is going on the card 3 or 4 days late every month? Is it the guys or is it the women's? Who's spending freaking money on new shoes and fucking dresses and purses? And who's spending the fucking money on macaroni and cheese and baseball and Cub Scouts and you know, going to national parks or the library? Okay, let's see who's spending money on what, because that's going to tell you who the good parent is. Not creating a system where one parent is a fucking ATM machine who has to pay for everything, and the other parent is a fucking parasite that lives off of the other parent, lives in the other parent's freaking abode, uses the fucking money for herself as much as she uses it for the kids. Okay? It's just wrong. So take that last little 2 minutes that I told you about the card, take it to every judge, every friend of the court, everybody you know. That is the solution to our child support system. Have a debit or a credit card that both people put money on, okay, and both people use to buy things for the kids. All right? That's all I got. If you don't believe me, if you don't think any of this stuff happens, if you think that I'm full of shit, write it down in the comments. I welcome it. Bring it on. And as always, take it easy.